Hi, everyone. I'm Krista Myers, editor-in-chief of ETF.com, here with an update on what's going on with tariffs and the state of the U.S. economy. So two big things are happening out today. First and foremost, China has decided to raise their retaliatory tariffs on the United States up to 125%. Now, that is bang in line with what President Trump had said he was going to raise our tariffs to against Beijing. That is an increase from the 84% that China had originally levied against us, again, in retaliation for the tariffs that we had placed upon China. So that's where we stand right now with tariffs. We are still in that 90-day pause and holding period on the tariffs on most other nations while they try to negotiate some sort of deal with the president. That news had been giving investors a lot of hope for the future. Now let's take a look over as to how this is going to impact the U.S. economy. I've said this before and I will say it again. Two things are largely expected to happen to tariffs, or I rather should say three things. First and foremost, tariffs are believed to be causing inflation or will cause inflation to go higher and tick upward. Why is that? That's because it is going to cause the prices that American consumers are going to pay to be higher and higher and higher as essentially importers pass on the cost of those tariffs to you and to me. So that's first. Second thing is that they are largely expecting, a lot of economists, that this is going to weaken the U.S. economy. We are anticipating that the U.S. economy, GDP growth, is going to slow in 2025 as a result of these tariffs, as businesses and manufacturers and exporters and importers have to change how much they import and they export as a result of these tariffs. And American consumers cut back on spending because everything becomes more and more expensive. Which brings us to our third thing, which is recession. Recession odds are ticking upward. JP Morgan, that is, of course, one of the large banks in the United States, actually has placed their recession odds at now 60%. Previously, the range had been anywhere from 20 to 50% for a lot of these banks and economists. We're now looking at 60%, at least for JP Morgan. And Jamie Dimon, the head of JP Morgan, has flat out and said that these tariffs and the trade war is going to cause turbulence for the U.S. economy ahead, which is not great news for one of the chiefs of one of the major banks in the United States. And in response, the bank has actually added over $1 billion to its balance sheet to really insulate itself from any sort of economic shocks that they might face as a result of this trade war. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe ETF.com as we keep you updated on everything to do with tariffs, trade war, markets, and of course, your investment portfolio.